There's a lady who appears to have control over a big creature, or maybe she is the creature herself. When she makes punching motions, the creature mimics her exactly, and this led to the destruction of a nearby helicopter. When she dances, the creature follows suit. It's almost as if they're sharing a single body. How does she manage to do this? This lady goes by the name Gloria, and she recently went through a breakup with her boyfriend. After returning from New York, she returned to her parents' old house, which is now completely empty. Gloria's first priority is to address her sleeping situation, so she purchases an air mattress from a nearby store. While on her way back, she runs into an old friend named Oscar, who was once her classmate in elementary school. Oscar kindly invites her to hop into his car, and the two of them decide to reminisce about the old days by visiting a large bar that Oscar runs. Oscar introduces Gloria to his two friends at the bar, and they all enjoy a few drinks together. After a lengthy conversation, Gloria starts to feel a bit unsteady as she heads home, carrying her air mattress on her shoulder. Along the way, she leaves a trail of footprints in a nearby park. Once she's back home and possibly exhausted, Gloria falls asleep while sitting on the floor. However, her slumber is abruptly interrupted by a phone call. The voice on the other end sounds extremely anxious, as if something significant has occurred. With a bewildered expression, Gloria opens her computer and is utterly stunned by the news she finds. The headline reports that Seoul has been attacked by a sudden appearance of a monstrous creature, causing unprecedented panic among the city's residents. Overwhelmed by the shock of this news, Gloria covers her mouth in disbelief. Later in the evening, Gloria returns to Oscar's bar for another round of drinks. They sit and watch the news about the monster on the TV together. The existence of the monster is so unbelievable to Gloria. She stays at the bar until late into the night, and as she heads home, she passes by the park once more. With a mix of emotions, she settles on a park bench and spends the entire night there. The next morning, she makes a decision after much contemplation. She decides to call her ex-boyfriend. However, their conversation is cut short when he abruptly hangs up on her, leaving Gloria seething with anger, causing her to drop her phone to the ground. Upon returning home, Gloria starts setting up her air mattress, her mood gradually calming down. Just then, the doorbell rings, and it's Oscar. Realizing that Gloria doesn't have any furniture, he brings her a television. After they finish setting up the TV, Oscar offers Gloria a job at his bar, which she accepts without hesitation. However, on her very first day of work, Gloria finds herself distracted by something else. As Gloria watches the news footage of the monster, she has a sudden realization that its actions resemble her own when she dropped her phone. The more she dwells on this, the more suspicious it seems. When she returns home, she reviews the previous videos again. She notices that the monster's motion of putting its hands in front of its shoulders is eerily similar to her action of carrying the air mattress. How could this be? Gloria wonders. She begins to suspect that there must be a place that connects her and the monster, causing the monster to mimic her every move. After researching, she eventually identifies that place as the park she frequently passes by. To test her theory, Gloria raises one hand and then lowers it, followed by raising both hands and putting them down again. After this, she hurries back home and immediately turns on the TV to see if the monster replicates her actions. As expected, when Gloria watches the TV, the monster appears for the third time, with its hand raised. Gloria is left in shock. If the first gesture seemed like a coincidence, the second one is undeniably not. The monster raises both its hands immediately after Gloria's gesture. Panic overwhelms Gloria as she realizes that she unwittingly caused harm to many people. Overwhelmed by sadness and guilt, Gloria seeks solace at the bar. During their conversation, she confides in her friends about the unsettling events. In order to validate her claims, they decide to drive to the park. They access the website and wait to watch a live news feed as Gloria steps into the park. Just as expected, the monster appears on the phone screen. It mimics Gloria's movements, including dancing. The sight leaves Gloria's friends in shock. Gloria then makes some gestures, accidentally causing a helicopter to be destroyed, resulting in the pilot's tragic death. The realization that her unintentional actions have taken a life deeply saddens Gloria. She wants to leave the park but collapses to the ground and loses consciousness. When Gloria regains consciousness, she finds herself back at home. When Gloria sees the monster on TV, she quickly turns it off. At that moment, Oscar pays her a visit and brings some food. Overwhelmed by guilt, Gloria exclaims that she's going to turn herself in to the police, blaming her alcohol problem for the harm caused to so many people. Oscar tries to soothe her and reveals that the situation is more complex than she thinks. It's not just a monster in Seoul, but there's also a giant robot involved, and Oscar is convinced that he is the one controlling the robot. After a thorough discussion, they decide to offer an apology to the citizens of Seoul. They go to the park with a cell phone in Oscar's hand. Gloria transforms into the monster and disperses the crowd, while Oscar writes an apology on the ground. This act portrays the monster as a benevolent and intelligent entity that never intended to harm people. Hearing the positive response from the crowd, Gloria finds some relief. However, an unexpected accident still occurs. The following morning, Gloria once again spots the giant robot on TV. In a rush, she heads to the park, only to find Oscar still enjoying himself, causing destruction in the city. She pleads with Oscar to stop, but he stubbornly refuses. Left with no other option, Gloria walks up to Oscar and delivers a resounding slap, forcing him to leave the park. The sight of the virtuous monster standing up against the malevolent robot astounds the onlookers. The news dramatically shifts public opinion, portraying the monster as a guardian of Seoul rather than a menace. It becomes a hero in the eyes of the people, which complicates Gloria's life even further. In a bid for revenge against Gloria, Oscar demands that she handle all the grunt work. He also pressures Gloria to drink beer, but she declines, fearing the loss of control that comes with alcohol. However, Oscar resorts to a threat, stating that if she doesn't drink, he will return to the park for another destructive escapade. Gloria remains steadfast in her decision not to drink, even pouring a drink in front of Oscar. Upon seeing her determination, he promptly heads back to the park. Realizing she can't prevent Oscar from his destructive path, Gloria decides to confront him in the park. As they meet, a physical altercation ensues between them, mirroring the ongoing battle between the monster and the robot. Gloria delivers a powerful punch to Oscar and even bites his hand. With no other option, Oscar is forced to halt the fight. To Gloria's surprise, when she opens her door the next day, she finds Oscar in her house. She can't quite comprehend his true intentions. The situation takes her back to a day in school from many years ago, when a storm was approaching. On that day, Gloria and Oscar were heading to school together with their school projects in hand. A strong gust of wind blew Gloria's project away. Without hesitation, Oscar set aside his own project and climbed over a wall to retrieve Gloria's lost work. Gloria followed Oscar over the wall, and she would never forget what unfolded next. As Oscar picked up Gloria's school project, instead of returning it to her, he placed it on the ground. Gloria watched in astonishment, wondering what Oscar intended to do. She was infuriated when she witnessed Oscar crush her project underfoot. In that moment of anger and confusion, something truly magical occurred. Lightning slowly descended from the sky, striking Gloria's head as a toy monster fell from her bag. Simultaneously, Oscar was struck by lightning, and a toy robot he held in his hand tumbled to the ground. Many years later, that location was transformed into a park. It's only now that Gloria finally comprehends everything that transpired in the past. It dawns on her that Oscar's true resentment was directed at himself, unable to come to terms with his own meaningless and pitiful existence. The discord between them reignites, sparking another confrontation. After their altercation, Oscar abruptly flees from Gloria's house and heads to the park to wreak havoc. Gloria attempts to stop him, but Oscar's superior strength quickly overpowers her. She finds herself on the ground, helpless, as she watches Oscar cause destruction throughout the city. Seeing the footprints left in the wake of the chaos fills Gloria with a profound sense of dread, knowing that this may lead to the loss of countless lives. Upon returning home, Gloria gazes at the map on her wall, determined to put an end to Oscar's rampage. An ingenious idea suddenly strikes her, and without hesitation, she rushes to Seoul. Meanwhile, Oscar, after having a drink, returns to the park. Before long, the giant robot reappears in Seoul. Simultaneously, Gloria arrives in Seoul and is confronted by the colossal robot before her. Summoning her courage, she begins to approach it, while Oscar, unaware of the impending danger, prepares to demonstrate his strength to the city. As panic engulfs the citizens of Seoul, a chubby individual among them stumbles and falls to the ground, paralyzed with fear, just as the robot is about to crush him. Oscar suddenly feels a tremor beneath his feet. Gloria is advancing, summoning a giant monster that materializes before Oscar. The monstrous entity fixes its gaze on him, causing Oscar to panic and flee. Realizing that the robot is attempting to escape, Gloria seizes Oscar, and as she lifts him, the robot ascends into the sky as well. When Gloria withdraws her hand, the robot follows suit. At this point, Oscar is in a state of complete desperation, pleading for mercy and shouting curses in his panic. Gloria makes up her mind and hurls Oscar far away. As the robot flies off, the monster also vanishes. The park is left in ruins, but the gathered citizens cheer for their deliverance. Though she has saved countless lives, Gloria grapples with mixed emotions, unable to determine whether she feels happiness or not. Thanks for watching, guys.